First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next. You found us at postwrestling.com. Maybe you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, but it's Tuesday night, so you know what that means.
It means we are live on youtube.com/postwrestling. Hello, YouTube room. How are we doing?
Hello, all the postmarks out there worldwide and on Tuesday nights here on Up Next. We welcome the NXT friends.
Friends!
All around the world as well. If you're joining us, thank you. You could be anywhere in the world right now. And how's it going? We hope your summer's doing all right. You're keeping busy, keeping fun. We're gonna be fun. We're gonna talk about some NXT wrestling and a whole lot more here at Post Wrestling. But how you doing? You all right?
I'm all right. I dropped a knife on my foot during NXT, and it wasn't a Chandler Bing thing where I lost a toe or anything like that, but it was a heavy knife and it landed right on the bone on the top of my foot. So it's kind of hurting, and I've got a bit of a headache, and I don't think that's helped. But apart from that, I'm not bad. How are you?
You could have been busted open hard way. Was there color?
No, I have got a mark actually. Yeah, I've got like a Sheamus-esque welt on my
it
foot.
Looked like for a second
no blood.
For a second there, it looked like you were about to put your feet on camera for free, and we don't do that. But patreon.com/Poisonrana. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the bonus tier for that stuff.
Yeah, you don't put feet on main. That's for sure. I learned that much being a content creator. But I hope your toe's okay. I hope at least you can still podcast and walk, hopefully.
Yes.
Very, very nice. I've been enjoying the summer. It's been a good time. The World Cup's over, right? Is that like a big thing that's happened, right? It didn't come home, unfortunately, but you'll get them next time.
We still have the best performance since 1966. So third place game was a lot of fun. It's a weird game that no one really wants to play, and it was quite an enjoyable game to watch, and I'd say a lot more enjoyable than the final. But I think at the end of this all, the right team won. So I was pretty happy with it all.
It's not about who wins the World Cup. It's about the friends from other countries we made along the way.
Exactly, yeah.
It's all about the halftime show.
Maybe not that, but Ronaldo and Ronaldinho enjoying retirement, just hanging out with Madonna, had me in stitches. Like, that was very funny. Like that.
Oh, I saw Madonna hanging out with someone else, the president. Maybe they were just sharing the box.
Was hanging out with them as well, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, weird final. It kind of did remind me of wrestling in a way, where this whole tournament, you've got Argentina, the reigning champions, the Roman Reigns, if you will, with his bloodline.
Messi. Yeah.
His bloodline, Solo Sikoa being like the referee and the Usos being VIR or something, just getting them out of scraps. Like, you think they're down, you think Egypt are going to beat them, and then wham, there's a Samoan spike from behind, and Roman gets the job done, Messi gets the job done. And then the final was just like Spain all over them. Like, Argentina not getting a single shot in the whole game. Ridiculous. And then you're just thinking, oh boy, shenanigans starts happening. You get the referee with you are out of there. You think things are going well for the baby faces. And then you're going, oh no, I've seen this before. Something's going to happen. We'll get another Tongan or Samoan show up to screw things up. But in the end, the good guys prevailed and Argentina were defeated. And Spain, worthy world champions, back-to-back Euros, Euro and World Cup champions, and we'll take them next time. It's a shame we didn't get to meet them in the final, but I think a lot of people were, especially like they even had the visual pin in the match. You had a goal that shouldn't have been disallowed whatsoever, should have at least been reviewed, and yet, what was it? The ref being pulled out from the ring on the 3 count or something. And yeah, I think when that happened, everyone thought, fuck, this is Argentina are going to have one shot on goal. It's going to be messy, and they're going to lift that trophy once again. But thankfully, no. And Spain are your winners. So well done, Spain. Good tournament. Had a fun time. Got to meet lots of people from all over the world in our beautiful city we call home here. And I think overall was a really fun time. Yes, would have liked to see England go further. Yes, I think England should have been in the final. But alas, the right team won at the end of the whole thing. Yeah,
I know people obviously are big fans of Messi, and I'd say Ronaldo were at least the two biggest names I'd say that I'm familiar with. Like people generations are familiar with, and they're so good or so popular that people are just buying jerseys for countries that just because that player like reps it, and that's just how popular that these people are. But it was funny seeing all the Brits and all the other teams just decide, no, we're not going for Argentina. Because okay, I'm not a footy expert, but I could see the arguments of people you hinted of like some referees maybe looking one way, or maybe some things. I'm not using the word rigged or my favorite word conspiracy, but like I would hear them out, because especially that one Portugal game, and I'm Portuguese, and I was like, that was a little weird. What game was that? Was that Denmark? I think I forget what game that was, but it was like, and then the one with England, and I'm like, okay, there is some things, and then I think that they expected the big star that, like you said, the Roman Reigns of Messi to be like he's going to win the whole thing, and if it's not him, it was going to be Ronaldo, but clearly plans change.
I know this is a wrestling show, so yes, we use the wrestling analogies, but I honestly felt like that. Like you have Messi trying to like be like, oh, teacher, look, he covered his mouth. Send him off. You had all that shit. You even had, when the heel loses the match, but they get their heat back by the post-match beatdown.
Sure.
You even fucking had this in the final where players are getting sent off after the final whistle's gone because they're sore losers and couldn't take this loss. Yeah, so I thought they were pretty disgraceful this tournament, to be honest, and it was very, very pleasing to see them get their comeuppance right at the end there.
What was there any game that stood out? Because there was that one. What was it where they came back? There was the one Portugal. I'm forgetting. There was a few games that like really stuck out of like some of the tournament ones. Was it?
I'd say Cabo Verde. Cabo Verde, Argentina was your Maya World Mercedes Monet of the tournament.
That's the one that I was thinking of.
Cabo Verde won the hearts of, especially their keeper, just won the hearts. And I engage in, you can check in the show later. Don't tell us what to talk about. We're going to continue talking about
Cut the soccer talk. Yeah.
And
World Cup is over.
Timestamp. So if you want to tune out and tune back into the audio, fast forward about 30 minutes, we'll be talking about NXT. But yes, I'd say, Cabo Verde won the hearts of most of the world with their performance. And that was heartbreaking, their loss to Argentina. I think the Egypt game with Argentina was really controversial as well with the way that thing finished. But yeah, and France-England, even though not really, it's like that weird bittersweet match. Like both teams obviously want to be in the final, but I think that was a tremendously fun game to watch with like England going up 4-0 in the first half and then Mbappe clawing it back and winning the golden boot in the process, which I was pretty happy about. And then ending with the 6-4 win, a bunch of Arsenal players scoring, Saka getting his hat trick. I thought that was pretty good as well. No, there were some really fun games this tournament, I thought.
I love seeing our city at least have people, come from all different walks of life and join and be merry and a positive. I know it's a big negative for what's to come after. We got to pick up the bill, but at least, it made for people to be coming together and joyful and stuff. I went to a beach on Sunday, and there was all these different families doing like cookouts and stuff. And this one family that had their truck decked out Argentina, they had the flags, they had everything, and they brought, like, I kid you not, like, they brought a giant size TV to the beach, somehow had that thing connected and had the game on it was so funny. And I wasn't watching, but I could hear some of the reactions, and then like a family of people wearing Spain jerseys showed up, and it was almost like West Side Story going on. But at the end of the day, it was all love. But I was like, I know we've watched wrestling in our backyard and stuff before when we were roomies, but bringing the TV to the beach was next level. So bravo.
Have you seen so there was a video going around of a Spanish flight during the final, and the pilot gets on the thing and saying, "I regret to inform you that if you have bought one of those Spain jerseys that has 1 star on it, I'm afraid you're going to have to get another one because you need a second star." And they're all like cheering and celebrating. But then a pilot or like a steward or someone does it for an Argentinian flight, trolling them, kind of doing the same thing, and then being like, no, jokes, Argentina lost. And they're like, no.
Damn. Well, good GG's, everyone, no matter where you are in the world. But the World Cup's over. The soccer talk is over. But I see Jake from the Windy City. Thank you for the super chat, who says, wonderful 40 days, Davey. Hopefully this reignites your love for football full time. I know we're going to go being in the UK. Are you going to check out a game when you're there? Some footy?
Arsenal are playing Chelsea while I'm back home. So nice. I would quite like to go and see that if I'm able to, because that would be good. Yeah, good year. Like Arsenal winning the league, almost winning the Champions League. Good performance from England. So yeah, I've definitely been in the football spirit.
Nice. We will, famous last words here, talk about NXT in a little bit. A lot of stuff going on. The wrestling never stops. Being a wrestling fan, it feels like a good summer. We got 2 big shows on each side of the 2 biggest companies, with WWE and SummerSlam and AEW with All In, and it feels like a good summer. It feels like there's some stuff, you have the announcement of Cody and Punk really giving some attention to that show. I would say at least that's a pretty big match, and Oba and Brock, and there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. We got CM Punk and Kenny Omega as current champions. The summer is good for the Graps right now, being a wrestling fan. I know it's nice to go outside and do other stuff and be outside, but the wrestling never stops, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And obviously NXT tonight. I know that we have a heat wave that we will get to later in the summer, the same day as All In, actually. But sort of NXT adjacent news here. I guess I'll jump into it, since I guess inadvertently queued myself up. What are you doing in April 2027? You want to go to
what date?
Just April.
Sometime in April.
Well, no, we know the date because it's WrestleMania. It's the 2 dates of WrestleMania.
They haven't announced a date for.
Oh, say a word. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. More on that in a second. Okay. Yeah. Eternal Glory. We get NXT Stand and Deliver and AAA Eternal Glory, a double shot of shows at the MSG Theater sometime in April 2027. So the commercials here, and let me get this straight, because I saw the commercial like everyone else. It says, hey, WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi, but wouldn't it be great if you could watch it? Well, you can at our New York City watch party. And that is how they're selling it, which you click any of these videos, whether it's their YouTube or Instagram or whatever, all the comments are like, hey, why don't you just do WrestleMania in New York instead? So you go to MSG Theater, you go early in the day because it will be Saudi in the time zones, et cetera, et cetera. You watch WrestleMania, and then Saturday will be the Triple Mania show, and then the Sunday will be the Stand and Deliver. So that is basically what they're selling you for sometime in April 2027.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, I think it makes sense, right? I think
sure.
I think NXT, I think Stand and Deliver really did lose its luster this year. not being in a particularly great venue and not being at WrestleMania weekend. The problem has been those, we've been there to those 11 a.m. NXT Stand and Delivers, which aren't ideal either. So I think this makes a whole lot of sense to do from their point. You're going to have people wanting to go to Mania who can't, or wanting to watch it, wanting to get into that Mania spirit. So why don't you lure them in? Because the watch party is going to happen at the theater as well, I assume, right? So you'll get your ticket for, I imagine you'll go in, watch WrestleMania, and then you've got the live wrestling after. So it's kind of a way of guaranteeing that these are probably going to be pretty full shows. I think, 5,000 people can attend these. Now the question is, like, does that then become the base for, your collectives, GCW, all of that, the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Show and stuff like that? Will they choose to piggyback off of the WrestleMania watch party, Stand and Deliver, etc. in New York? Which, I mean, they're going to have to announce a date first for people to get their things together to do that. And New York, not the cheapest place to run in the world. Now, is it worth it if it's 5,000 attendance tops is what that venue can hold? Is it still worth it for these other companies to piggyback off of that? And
I would say no.
Do you think you'll get? I don't think so.
No.
And it's with doing a venue that size as well. You're still not really going to get. I mean, you'll get some people who'd be like, "Oh, I'll have a weekend in New York and go to watch it," but you're not going to get the traveling fans still, I think. So, but do you maybe see WWE doing more official watch parties around the country? Maybe.
Yeah. I feel like, okay, announcing this, I was totally unaware that we didn't know the dates for WrestleMania, so that just makes this even funnier. But I do find, like, okay, with all the talk of WrestleMania not being here, there was a lot of questions, like what happens with Stand and Deliver. Sure, I think maybe only hardcore people like us, NXT people, NXT friends, dare I say, are the only ones like, oh, Stand and Deliver. Most wrestling fans we see aren't necessarily checking into NXT maybe like we used to, but the specials do happen around WrestleMania weekend. We saw this year, it was shifted to just like a few weeks separated from WrestleMania weekend, and it was a completely different entity. Like, doing these tiny audience shows, they sell because it's smaller audience, but it's not necessarily, it's the side, it's the like developmental, and then this AAA, which, mind you, has been popular with the story of Grande and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool that they're doing these shows. I like that. And it looks like maybe there'll be like joint shows where you'll have NXT on the first show and vice versa.
Unless you're Bronco Nima, you've got to pick, right?
Oh, true. Right. Yes. More on that with Mr. Stone on NXT tonight. But yeah, like, I like the fact that we're getting these two pay-per-views. Cool. I'm just also like, what is the reason for this? Is it just to get more people interest? Like, it's a different idea. We've never seen WWE do this, but it does make me think, with WrestleMania being away and you asking like, what about Collective and all the WrestleMania weekend, if you will, or WrestleMania week that we're so used to with all the other stuff, WrestleCon and etc. like we mentioned. What if Tony Khan, who has made some tiny hints like that there'll be some sort of big weekend, maybe move All In, maybe make Revolution a bigger thing, maybe run New York. We were at Double or Nothing. The demand was high, a sold out, rabid fan base. What if you did a giant Arthur Ashe type show like around the week or around springtime to maybe go against that? And maybe it could perhaps coincide with the day. What if AEW counter programmed New York City with a bigger show at like example Arthur Ashe?
Would you do the same dates or a different weekend around the same time?
Well, you could go head to head with these shows because WrestleMania will be in the daytime, right? So
yeah,
right. Like, so it's just a thought that crossed my mind. I'm like, we have Tony who's made some little hints. Like, what was one of the recent pressers? Someone said, hey, there's not going to be this big springtime, WrestleMania week. And he goes, yeah, not yet, or something like that. So it does make me believe there's something, something brewing.
I think as soon as this Saudi show was announced, people were theorizing that would be a good thing to do. You know, people have talked about New Orleans being a make good, you know, because they've kind of been robbed of a couple
New
of
Orleans would be crazy. I would say it's one of these two. Yeah, it's got to be New York or NOLA.
But I think you're also it's finding the right venue. You know, AEW I think is at its hottest it's been for a while, but you know, still attendance isn't great. We're going to Revolution at the weekend. Sorry, Redemption at the weekend, and tickets haven't been too great for that.
It's like just under 6,000.
You know, Wembley's starting to pick up a bit. I think last check was around 31,000 distributed, but that's still down on last time they ran Wembley. And you'd have thought with the year break and the product being a little hotter that they'd do it. So I think like an Arthur Ashe size, like a 20,000 would be a good size thing to do. And then, but you know, Tony Khan, he said at the last press we went to, like he's very open to working with these other companies. So I think actively trying to make a weekend of it, you know, him lending stars to these other shows to have your WrestleCons and your collectives and all that running at the same time. I think it's a great idea and could work. But yeah, I don't think a 5,000, like I think you could, if you were to run Arthur Ashe the same day as WrestleMania, I don't think a 5,000 seat watch party / stand and deliver is going to make much of a dent. You know, there is the thing of getting over from wherever you are watching it to
or leaving, as we learned in Double or Nothing. Well, we escaped, but a lot of people learned. But yeah.
But do you wonder if like the reason why they haven't announced the date yet is because of things like that? Are they trying to like lock up some other venues and things?
Right, right.
I could totally see this weekend thing. Like I'm getting flashbacks. You know, we're reviewing SummerSlam 2001 this week, and whenever we go back to like that Attitude Era, like 2000, I always just have flashbacks of like the big boss man at WWF New York, you know, while they're somewhere else. And I can totally see that happening at WrestleMania, where we cut and, you know, Jackie Redmond hasn't done the trip, but Jackie Redmond's in the theater at Madison Square Garden chatting with, you know, Baron Corbin or whoever. Like people that haven't made the show, and some stars maybe being lent to do those AAA and NXT shows who aren't going to make the 14 match card or whatever it is for the weekend in Saudi Arabia. So I do think it's funny that, you know, it's 10 months out, 9 months out to WrestleMania, and we still don't know a date. And I do wonder if that's like a tactical decision.
It would be funny if they were to lock in a date and then on the same day you get the AEW like Double or Nothing. Like if that's the case, I just think it would be funny with all this counter promoting stuff. But regardless, I just want a WrestleMania weekend that's maybe not revolving around a WrestleMania, and maybe it will maybe circle around an AEW show. And then you get, look, AEW has been collecting the Infinity Stones of these indie feds. You got like C4 up here in Canada. You got Produce Wrestling, right? Like there's all these things that Maple Leaf Wrestling
Maple Leaf
now.
Pro.
Yeah. There's a lot of things getting picked up. So like maybe they are gonna try to gear up for some sort of big week or something. And I hope that's the case. And I feel like that's something that we would definitely want to travel for, because there's all the other things, and fans, like, we know a lot of people that go to WrestleMania weekend and don't even go to WrestleMania. They go to all the other stuff, and that would be great. So yeah, bring it on. Get DDT over here. Get all the feds from all of CMLL, like all the different New Japan, even maybe. Like there's plenty of options.
They have way more relationships than WWE does, you know. So it would be, as Iron Gaijin says in the chat, feels like neither side wants to pick a date first.
It's kind of funny. Like maybe we're just looking into this, but what's my favorite word? Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe they're playing a little game of chicken here of like, yeah, go ahead, book WrestleMania and book these two smaller NXT shows, and on those same date, like on one of those dates, AEW should run the same city in a bigger venue. That would be hilarious. So book it in Queens. Oh, if it's Queens, we're going to Queens. We're basically residents of Queens at this point. We love Queens. Shout out Cheap Shots. Shout out our boy Daniel. Shout out the squad in Queens. We love Queens. So yeah, we would go back for sure. But yeah, I found that interesting that WWE. You know what? I found that interesting, but you telling me the dates weren't locked in is far more interesting now, actually. So yeah, bring on a big weekend next year. What will happen? Let us know. But we shall see. What else is going on? What else is going on before NXT? I feel like there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
There's been a lot of chat about, and maybe this is someone we'd see go head to head with WrestleMania. Bayley, who there's been a lot of talk about Bayley's status in WWE, and Lyra Valkyria kind of referencing yesterday, like, I ran her out of WWE, and Bayley posting a picture, Kalani Jordan saying, please don't go. And people believing that there's a lot of interest from, unsurprisingly, from other companies, i.e. AEW, towards Bayley. And will WWE make a play to keep her or not?
I feel like she's going, right? Like, I feel like that's something that just kind of makes sense. We've seen the way she's been kind of used in the last little while. Mind you, she's been on TV. She's been in angles and storylines, and we were at Mania 40. She won the title there, but that was then, and I guess this is now. And maybe it is the best for her to just change scenery, right? Like, okay, I haven't said this in a while, but she could go be with her friends and be all elite, because, like, there's so much more for her to do, I feel like, without the WWE attachment. We've seen just recently with her whole training camp, the women's wrestling thing that she's been leading and, like, taking charge of and helping the next generation. And I feel like that's just it's just a shoo-in for her to do this sort of AEW or indie run, worldwide tour, if you will, like exactly what Mercedes did. And then ultimately we get Mercedes versus Bayley or teaming up. And I feel like that's just such an easy thing. Like that, I don't think that AEW should just pick up everyone that leaves WWE. It's definitely not everyone, but I think Bayley would be a good choice and an easy choice to have her come in. And the story is there with Bayley. Book Barclays Center and run the match back.
Absolutely. Like I think it makes sense for her career to move elsewhere. I think that door, will always be open for her. And if she, ever wants to go back in that, she can have that nostalgia run. She can have that trainee role in WWE. Like once this, like her next contract, whatever it is over. But I think while she still has gas in the tank, she's done everything there is to do in WWE. Yeah. She's multiple time women's champion, tag champion, NXT women's champion, Royal Rumble winner. Like she's had big WrestleMania matches. Like what else is there for her to do? And you're looking and you're seeing all your like younger talent who are moving in. Like you've got the crop who, your Sol Rukas and your Fatal Influence and your Tiffany Strattons and all of them who are like younger and below her. And then you've got your, Kendall Grays and your Kalani Jordans and your Lola Vices and all the people that haven't made it up from NXT yet. And does she want to spend the next 3 years doing what she's done pretty much the last 2 years, which is
3 years,
putting over other people? And I think, she probably looks at the career her best friend's been having in Mercedes Moné and think, man, I'd like to do a little Stardom run and wrestle those people. I'd like to wrestle Mercedes again. And I think she'd be a very valuable pickup for AEW. I'm not the biggest Bayley fan in the world. I don't dislike her by any means, but she's never been my favorite of the four horsewomen or anything. But I think she would add so much to AEW, and I think she could carry fans over as well.
Possibly, yeah.
The women's division is something that, unfortunately we, Toni Storm's out at the moment, and she's a big name in AEW that they've really missed, and they've caught fire with Tekla. Mercedes has been fantastic. You have Willow, obviously, who's great, and I think she'd really add to that division. And there's a lot you can do. Obviously you'd run that Mercedes feud back. Toni Storm, if she's healthy, can come in. Tekla would be great. Willow would be great. Like there's so much you can do with her there, and also have the freedom to work indies and Japan and all that. I think it would make a whole lot of sense. But it would be interesting to see what kind of offer WWE give her if they want to retain her. Like,
maybe they don't.
Do you have if they're happy to let her go, cool. But if you were Bayley and being like, okay, you want to keep me? Well, no cut clause, no renegotiate my contract a year from now. Like, if you want me, pay me and keep me. If not, I'm sure she's going to get offers.
What would her name be? I forget what her other wrestling name. Like, it's been so long. Bayley.
It was something Rose. Is it Davina Rose?
Davina Rose. Yeah. For those true NXT 4 Horsewomen fans, you can listen to us on Was Next, a series we do on our Patreon. We've been just recently covering Bayley's introduction into NXT. She's been beefing with the BFFs, Charlotte, Sasha, Becky's all involved. It's pretty cool looking back. I totally want the cuffs off Bayley and whatever she goes by. I'm sure she can get a cool. Will she finally get Paramore as her theme song? Maybe not.
I was literally just going to say, is it going to be surprise entrance and misery business starts?
Right. I'm going to say that's an expensive. That would, I don't necessarily love Paramore, but that's a banger. You got to admit, and it would make a good theme song. So, but she can't show up at Wembley. That's too soon. So,
Paramore have said before they'd be happy for her to use.
Yeah, I wonder why that didn't work.
They've met a few times, but
right, yeah.
But WWE were like, no, how about if you come out as an Egyptian? That would be better.
Right. That everyone was just expecting Paramore. And if WWE loses one to another company, then it's only fair trade that the other company lose someone that maybe WWE could pick up. Because what in the world is going on with Sammy Guevara? Is it his time to shine? Take flight?
Sammy Guevara, it's my time to shine.
I'm going to miss that theme song, man. I think he actually owns that. I think that's actually his song. I could be wrong, but it's probably Ruckus involved with AEW. But yes, I can't believe this is a discussion. But Sammy Guevara leaving AEW. Is this what's going on? What's happened?
I can hear it now. Oh my! Is that who I think it is?
Oh no!
Wow, that's the former multi-time mid-card champion. We all know who he is, but we don't have a name for him yet. So what? Sammy Guevara's changed his bio today and removed any reference to AEW from his bio. I was then seeing a clip. I think this was from today, or maybe this is a previous time because I know they've had their run-ins before. But Eddie Kingston being going off on him as well, and reports that maybe Ty Mello requested her release last year and it wasn't granted. But I don't know. They've not done anything with him for a long time. He showed up out of nowhere as one of Darby's defenses during his title run, and I think that was more because he's someone Darby has history with than rather giving Sammy anything. He's been on Ring of Honor, but they've really not done anything with him for a long time. So I kind of hope he does go because he's got that stink in AEW, I feel.
Yeah, this dude has had some cool moments in AEW. Okay, Sammy Guevara is his real name, so he could show up on NXT as obviously they would want to give him some weird name that that would not be his real name. But he's had some moments in AEW. What comes to mind is the the ladder match with Cody. Cody's last banger in AEW really was with him. And clearly him and Cody were boys and Nightmare Factory and all this. So I'm sure he'd have a spot in WWE. And you know what? Like, he's someone that doesn't light the world on fire when he's on TV in AEW. But I've always liked him. And maybe Chris Jericho slips him Shawn or Triple H's number and go over there and be different. Like I said, a change of scenery for certain people. Like, if you're not being used and you think your worth is different, or you want to try something different, then I don't know. I think it would be a good get for WWE, especially NXT. Even I know he's not necessarily like that super young. He's probably in his early 30s, but by this point, but still, like, I do think he's a pretty good talent, and maybe not even NXT, just put him on the main roster. Now, this is all just us really getting ahead of ourselves. He could easily, be promoting a Ring of Honor match that we don't know about, but like, he would be someone that I think there's more to him than maybe what we've seen, but it's maybe just, unfortunately, in AEW, the pool is full of sharks right now, and maybe like it hasn't necessarily clicked. So maybe, putting him in a little different ocean might change things. I don't know. Like, I would be for it. I would let it see what happens and play it out. But I'm like that for most people. Like I just said with Bayley, like, she's boring in WWE. She's boring the same thing over and over again. Well, go do something else. Go be somewhere else. If artistically, speaking, I guess. But
I think the problem I had with Sammy Guevara is I found him immature. I think you look at sort of your Darbys, your MJFs, your like that class, and I don't think he ever grew up. And like, I remember the last match he had on, I guess it was the Darby match, or was it a Collision match or something? And he's like swearing on TV and stuff like that. And I know AEW drop F-bombs here and there and stuff, but he's not in the position to do that. Do you know what I mean? And
right.
And I just thought he was someone, he pissed off people backstage, and I just felt he never really grew up. And I think he was his own worst enemy. And, when you're new to the company and you're young and like the company was fresh and they're giving opportunity, you can't say they didn't give him opportunities. They put him with Jericho. They gave him the Cody feud. They made him TNT champion a couple of times. Like, he's feuded with a lot of the top guys, and it just never went anywhere. And I think we always say the men's roster in NXT needs work, and we'll talk about that later because they have
it's got some work, yeah.
But how much I don't see him. What would he do in the main roster that no one else is doing? I even look at NXT. It's like, what is he doing that what's Vanity Project? Jackson Drake. What's Sammy Guevara offering that Jackson Drake doesn't have? And Jackson Drake's younger and doesn't have that stink to him and things like experience on, TV and things like that. Yes. But I don't know. I wonder, like, I see maybe, more TNA, more MLP or that level. I don't know. And he's a very good talent. Don't get me wrong. But I just, if you're Ricky Saints aren't really breaking out on the main roster, and Ethan Page is doing all right, but like not lighting the world on fire, I don't really know what Sammy Guevara is going to offer.
That's totally fair. I just think at least there'd be some excitement. Like, look, they have AAA, right? Like, you got people like Ray Phoenix, who they use on TV sometimes in some cool matches, and he would fit perfectly into a slot like that where you put him on SmackDown and have some fun matches, because you show someone that 630 or some of the crazy stuff that he does, like, it could be pretty decent. I would say, just like look at the beginning of AEW, like the first episode, for an example, or what around that time, and look at the four pillars, if you will, and look at like where they are now. And I would say Sammy is the least evolved character from those four. Whereas MJF looks like he ate the version of MJF from 2019 or whatever. But like, I'd say Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara still haven't found themselves yet, if that makes sense. Where you see MJF and Darby are like complete packages pretty much in stars in wrestling right now. Like if MJF or Darby were to leave AEW suddenly and go new bio, done with AEW, they would be on WWE TV like very quick. They would be picked up instantly. That would be the only place for them to go because they're stars. Whereas he's maybe still hasn't quite found himself yet. I do think he's a decent wrestler. I remember they did this thing with Jericho where they did the Shawn Jericho match moment thing where Sammy kicked him in the dick. Like I was like, all right, okay, let's go. But I don't know what it is with him. But
I mean, that was his last big feud, really, wasn't it?
I would
and that
say.
was 2 years ago.
Again, this could all be speculation, and he's just dicking around and trying to get some attention or Ring of Honor. I don't know, but it does kind of make me think. There's a lot of these people in both companies that, hey, there is other places to go work if you're not like, okay, if you can afford and have a roof over your house and provide for your family or yourself and live comfortably, that's obviously probably number one on your list. But if both places offer in money, I know that might piss CM Punk off. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I think that he likes that now. I can't remember. But like, depending, you would be like, hey, I'm just a jobber over here. Maybe if I go try something else, maybe if you take that leap, right? So I don't know. Maybe it is something I would like to see people do that. I completely
understand him wanting to take that leap. It's whether WWE would take that leap.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I like a big shakeup like that. This is the true like draft when people like leave from different companies and go to other places. Like that's real. It's interesting and it's cool that we have that again in pro wrestling. But I would like to see other people.
I would say the other thing going against him is, at least Ricky Saints was put on ice. The Lucha Brothers were put on ice. But those pressers, people would be going, hey, where's Ricky Saints? Where are the Lucha Brothers? Have you heard anyone ask that question about Sammy Guevara?
I remember someone gave us, I think our Rob gave us for one of our wrestling events, like a Sammy Guevara figure. He's like, I got an extra one here. Just give it away to someone. And instead of adding it to like our prizes for some of the games that we do, I just had the mic and I screamed at the bar, is anyone here a Sammy Guevara fan? And then one guy's arm eventually shot up. And I walked over and he didn't see the figure. I was hiding it. And his friend goes, no, literally, dude, he's the only guy I know that's a Sammy Guevara fan. And he's like, yeah, I just really love him. So I was like, here you go. And I gave him the figure. He almost had a tear in his eye. He was like, wow, thank you. I'm going to get him to autograph this one day. I was like, yeah, man, bless you. So yeah, long live Sammy Guevara. You could possibly get a Sammy Guevara figure. You can't, but we have other prizes at another wrestling party that we have coming up.
Yeah.
Anyone in the Toronto area in just a few weeks. Toronto wrestling friends, we are throwing a 2-night SummerSlam watch party downtown Toronto, national at the Well. Go to Poisonrana.ca for links for tickets and information here. We have thrown some pretty fun wrestling parties, but the National has been letting us throw some fun, and we got some games. We got the sound on, big screens, wrestling, drink, and food specials, and some replica belts that were given away, and raffles, and all sorts of fun stuff. But these have been a blast, and WrestleMania was insane, and I'm just wondering, can we possibly get a even bigger Obafemi conga line this year during his entrance?
We must be able to now, right? Like we have to.
We'll get it on film again or record it.
Absolutely.
Very excited. These have been awesome. Poisonrana.ca, our SummerSlam, both Saturday and Sunday, 2 nights of SummerSlam in Toronto. Check out our Instagram as well for links and information for everything that we do at Poison Rana Pod. But yeah, looking forward to this. It's always more fun watching the big events with giant group of passionate fans. And I think this SummerSlam feels pretty hot with some of these big matches announced. I mean, who isn't excited for Dom versus Danhausen? I mean, come on. I mean, fucking ready for it. I bet people actually
making his NXT debut tonight.
Yes. We will talk about Danhausen on NXT. Yes. But Poisonrana.ca for links of everything that we do. Yes, we are up next here at Post Wrestling on Tuesdays, but we are also Poison Rana, the podcast. check us out in your Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Give us a follow and check out all the other content that we do. We usually go live on Sundays, but with the World Cup and with Redemption this weekend, we won't be. But we will be doing a big AEW Redemption preview show this Thursday. I think we're going to try to record it like early in the morning to get it up for y'all. So 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Yeah, we'll be doing double duty this week with our Poison Rana Live. So 11 a.m. on youtube.com/@PoisonRanaPod for our Redemption preview. And then hopefully sometime Sunday night, Monday morning, maybe our AEW Redemption review.
Yes, exactly. We are going to Montreal for AEW Redemption. It's on Sunday, which is my birthday. So what a better way to spend my birthday with my buds watching some wrestling. And we'll also be at the presser afterwards. So even better if I get to ask some wrestlers some questions on my birthday. So if you are going to Redemption or you're in Montreal and you're going to be going to the show, we will be hanging out. We got a few people messaging. I would say we're going to probably hit up Piranha Bar quite a few times this weekend. So I'm going to say Piranha Bar on Sunday around 3 or 4. We'll probably hang out. It's about a 10-15 minute walk from the Bell Center. So if you're out there and you're going to AEW Redemption, Davey, myself, and some of our peeps will be hanging out at Piranha Bar before the show. I know the actual main show starts at 7 p.m. So we got an hour grace period there where the show starts a little earlier. So maybe we'll get out on time to go back to the bar afterwards. But very excited about this weekend. I will also be attending Mystery Wrestling this Saturday. So for anyone in Montreal going to that show, please say hi to myself and friend of Post Wrestling, Mike Murray. Shout out to Scarborough Dad. We're going to be at at Mystery Wrestling this weekend. So tons of fun stuff. Looking forward to it in Montreal. Some poutines, some pile drivers. I'm ready. I'm ready not only for my birthday, but for the wrestling. So we will be doing a Redemption preview show and then some sort of Redemption review while we are. And, of course, some Snap Ranas because, Davey, our Patreon doesn't stop. It never stops.
Never. And we have a lot out and coming up on the Patreon. We did just drop our review, our best match ever, Jeff Jarrett, to coincide with the 3-parter of Jeff Jarrett and the battle for TNA on Dark Side of the Ring. We decided to honor his career by looking back at the 7 best matches of Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, for you Jeff heads out there, if that's a thing. We talk all about the different versions and different eras of The Last Outlaw, the Double J. We talk about the Roadie. We talk about Shawn Michaels, his matches with Kurt Angle and TNA, plus some WCW. We talk about it all and discuss the Dark Side of the Ring as well. So our love letter to good old Double J, that's JEF. No, I won't do the whole thing, but it was a ton of fun going through his whole career and a large talk about his TNA and just everything and how he's just so damn charming. It's just so we even talk about Spring Breakers, Taylor Swift. It's all there in Best Match Ever, Jeff Jarrett. But tomorrow we will be reviewing SummerSlam 2001. That'll be coming out in a few days over on our Patreon. I don't know what's on that show. It's the Kurt Angle and Stone Cold? Is that the main event?
Kurt Angle, Stone Cold, Booker T versus Rock. You've got Jeff Hardy versus Rob Van Dam in a ladder match.
Hell yeah. Blazing up for that one for sure.
And Chris Jericho versus Rhino.
What? Jericho versus Rhino? You messaged me cold today and you were like, are you excited for Jericho versus Rhino? And I just assumed that was what was announced for Dynamite tomorrow. Dynamite. Aren't they in Detroit?
They are in Detroit.
Yeah, so that's what I thought, dude. That's why I thought. So he's probably on the show some way, somehow. Yes, SummerSlam 01 review, best match ever, Jeff Jarrett. And you know what next week is, guys? Let me hit
Shark
you
Week
with some shark facts. Did you know that sharks don't have bones? Did you know that? I don't know if you did, but if you didn't and you want to know more, you can listen to all of our previous Shark Week reviews. We've reviewed Sharknado, Jaws, but this year, finally, we are reviewing Jason Statham versus The Meg. Finally. Been waiting
Yeah.
for this one. The Meg, which now we learned today that there's a Meg 2, where there's dinosaurs and shit.
Meg to the trench.
Maybe one day we'll get there too. So lots
hope
of shows over on our patreon.com/Poisonrana. We are two independent podcasters. You want to check out all the retro wrestling movie reviews. It's $5. Patreon.com/Poisonrana. Buy us a beer from Montreal by buying yourself some podcasts.
I will say you can also like preview some of our stuff because we have uploaded a load of our old shows for free on the Poisonrana feed. And one of them you might want to go back and revisit because many moons ago we were joined by Damian Abraham from Fucked Up and Vice is the Wrestlers to do a show called Best Death Match Ever. And one of the matches on that show we talked about was Samoa Joe versus Necro Butcher, which will be a great companion piece for tonight's Dark Side of the Ring. Where they're going back and looking at that. And I happened to rewatch this match last night, and it's
fantastic.
It's fucked up. So yeah, just go whether you're on Spotify or whatever, you can search for Best Death Match Ever, and it's there for free.
It was one of my favorite podcasts that we've ever done, and shout out Damien. We did that so many moons ago. We got to get him on for maybe a part 2. Damien basically curated a whole playlist and then made sure that that match was involved because he's like, it's not technically a death match, but it is. And we have reviewed it, and it is out for free on our free feed. So yeah, that was an awesome one. We got him up. Shout out Damien. All the love to all the friends of the post wrestling world out there, and you for listening, our friends. We are going to talk about some NXT. We have some friendly faces appearing on NXT, including a Danhausen, including a Santana. But I got to shout out some old NXT friends. You know, we pour one out when people leave and graduate. But shout out Fatal Influence for winning the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. You know, these women have worked their asses off in NXT. And I mean, the story of Lainey Wilson is kind of like Maya World, right?
Lainey Reed.
Lainey Reed. What did I say? Lainey Wilson?
Lainey Wilson.
That's a country singer. Lainey Reed, basically, she showed up for work, and she put in the work, and it paid off, just like a Maya World who showed up for work, and those 3 minutes turned into hopefully 3 stars. No, wait. You know what I mean. I'm saying I'm happy for Fallon Henley because man, we followed her for so long, and it's just cool to see that it paid off. So I hope the Fatal Influence train keeps on going because I love to see it. So I had to shout that out because I know we covered them for quite a while here on upNXT. So yeah, yeehaw, Fallon Henley, and but fuck that kid who pushed her. Did you see that? Yo, that was rude. Fuck them kids, bro. What was that? Hate that. That kid like pushed a few of them. You know? Yeah. Charge that kid. Kick him out. No more wrestling for you. Anyways, I watched some of the Danhausen and the Knicks stuff on Saturday night's main event. It was funny. That was a hell of a choke slam from that one dude, Karl Anthony Towns. That was nasty.
Yeah, Cathausen.
Cat, is that what they call them?
Yeah.
And then I keep seeing the video of this lady doing a salute during Gunther's entrance, and I was like, that's weird. But
I did enjoy that tag match, actually. I thought that was a lot of fun. And I did like the angle coming out of it as well with Cody flicking the belt on his shoulder. Sorry, Punk flicking the belt on his shoulder, catching Cody Rhodes. It was like they finally went, all right, we've got 2 weeks now. Let's add some to this.
We need to add something to it. So it's a little flick of the belt to the face. Was that it? Just a little bit. Like, hey,
I like the match. I thought that was pretty effective in what it's built up for. Didn't think a whole lot of the Knicks parade at the end of the show, but you know, we're Toronto boys.
Yeah. I'm sure it was a big deal for the city, so I totally get it. But it did feel like a big WWE TKO. Like, hey, we're happy that you won, and we'd love to try to capitalize on that. Which you know, I get it, but I gotta say, Danhausen is over. Like, it's such a popular thing. I'm seeing it in so much of my pop culture, and I loved the video they did, the like Godfather trailer thing that I thought it was pretty funny. And then he showed up tonight, so he's just everywhere right now. Who knows? Maybe he's gonna show up in like Hollywood soon. Maybe there's a future for Danhausen. This character should be showing up on like the Tonight Show, and he could be
He
hired
should be
to
in
be
the
C.
Odyssey, shouldn't he?
Put him in the Odyssey, Doomsday. You know,
Like the beginning of the Odyssey, he just curses Matt
I'm
Damon,
pissed.
and that
I'm pissed,
explains
man.
everything.
I'm trying to see this movie on IMAX 770 millimeter, but it's sold out because there's only 2 of those theaters in Ontario, and it's like sold out.
People got
like
these
August.
tickets like 5 months ago.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm probably just gonna have to see it in normal. Oh, I gotta see it in normal IMAX. Oh, golly gee, life is hard. But I've been obsessed with that Doomsday trailer. I can't lie. I'm excited. And then X-Men 97 right now is absolutely cooking. So some good shit happening with the Marvels. Anyways, let's talk about some NXT. All right.
Let's do it.
We almost made it to 1 hour of nonsense, but just shy.
People losing their mind. But
should we just start talking about soccer again?
Yeah, like you're gonna watch the Premier League next.
No, I'll talk about real sports, the sports that matter, sports entertainment from NXT, WWE NXT from Tuesday, July 21st, 2026. We start off with Mr. Stone's office. It's a busy office tonight. He's on the phone with someone, and he's like, yeah, you're going to get here tonight? Let me know when you're here. So who is he talking to? Thea Hale is there, and he's like, hey, who are you talking to? And he kind of ignores her. He ignores her again when Nattie walks
I don't
in.
know his name yet.
Yeah. I think he can go by... Oh, yeah, true.
I wish I could tell you, but I don't know.
Yeah. So in comes Nattie, who says, tonight, I'm ending Jaida Parker. And Thea's like, why aren't you giving me any attention? And she's kind of peed off there as NXT kicks off. But we start with an opening matchup here, a 6-man tag. Saquon Shugars has found 2 people to join him to face his former team DarkState here, where it's Dion, Cutler James, and Osiris taking on Romeo, Moreno, and Noam Dar with Shugars. We got to hear his theme song again. Shugars' theme song. Has it grown on you?
No, not really.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say we got to hear Noam Dar's theme again, because that one's pretty good.
Isn't it like it's supposed to be Oasis?
Well, it's metaphors, isn't it? Like it, but
right.
Even though all of them. Oh no, Lash is still around, I guess.
Lash is doing all right, I guess. Right, just getting that money. We see that they attack DarkState pretty much on the ramp right away here. Noam Dar and Romeo are actually working really well together. I know that it was Romeo that took the match, and Dar had to be kind of talked into it with this new tag team, but they were pretty some good synergy with a bunch of series of combos and penalty kicks and stuff. DarkState eventually blocked the shield or the DarkState bomb that they were trying to hit on Dion, and then they beat up Shugars during the break. Eventually, though, Shugars tags back in and lights up with a Falcon Arrow into some sort of backflip into a drop kick, like a Falcon Arrow into a cartwheel into a kick. It was a little weird, but hey, it worked. Cutler then counters.
Like it was kind of when he drops with the Falcon Arrow, it kind of caused them to sit up, which then was like more of a basement drop kick. It was all right, yeah. So
Shugars goes flying, and Cutler catches him and hits like a boss man slam into a backbreaker. They then hit the power bomb move, but Shugars counters this into like a Hurricane Rana for a 2 count. Romeo then sends him to the floor and hits his huge springboard dive, taking out everyone, which allows Shugars to get back in. He picks up Dion and does like a cartwheel DVD through the wall, my favorite spot here, underneath the perch, which leaves Romeo alone with DarkState in the ring, and they hit him with that power bomb and they pin him. So DarkState gets the win, but then it cuts to security holding Dion and Shugars apart from each other. So this feud is not over, and I imagine it goes to some sort of DQ or falls count anywhere, or no DQ rather, sort of match in the near future. But cool stuff in this match, but it didn't necessarily hit like some of the other wrestling we've been getting recently.
Yeah, like I thought Romeo showed some nice stuff. I liked his like springboard double stomp to the back of the neck he did. I thought that looked pretty cool. Like I liked that team. Like I think Shugars has stuff I quite like. I've always been a fan of Noam Dar, and I think they are fixing some criticisms we've had for the last year or so, which is the tag division, because you're looking at it and you've got Legacy and Van Dukes. You have Romeo and Noam Dar, who they're putting together. And I like when teams kind of dress the same and look sort of the same. And they've got that going on about them. We're going to get Tavion and Miles back together later in the show. So I think they're doing a nice job of building up the tag division. I'm so bored of DarkState. I'm ready for this feud to end. I don't think they're not necessarily even bad. I just find them boring. I find their look very dull. I find the gimmick very dull. And now the Shugars feud has gone on for a little bit. I'm ready for that to move on. And I'm just ready for something different for all of them. I'm not writing them off. Just I'm writing this gimmick off and this team off.
I agree. Yeah, like we've said that for a while.
Brings down the other people around it.
They're not even bad. It's just we still don't know what this character is. It's on site and we're taking over, and it's like, all right, we've seen that a whole bunch, and doing a lot of the Shield stuff didn't help from day one. But I don't love this group, and maybe we could get away from them beefing with Shugars. Like, where do we even go with them? Would you bring them up as a trio to the main roster? Like, I don't know if that would even work with the three of them. Like,
no. I don't
at least
so.
not right now.
I would scrap this and try something different with all of them.
Right.
Like, I think, like, I don't really rate Osiris and Cutler. I think there is something there with Dion that, like, given the right gimmick or the right tag partner or something, could work. Like, how many times have we seen in the past? Like, we go through our NXT 2014, and we're going through the era of, you know, Angelo Dawkins, who's just trying out different partners
and backpacks
films, and then suddenly something clicks with the right person, and I could see something like that with Lennox. I'm really not sure about the other two. I'd like to see Shugars maybe have a bit of a, kind of like Chad Gable's been doing, like a bit of an apology tour, a bit of a redemption tour, because I think he could be a big baby face actually in NXT, and I think he is someone. He's got the chops on the mic and he can go in the ring. There's still something missing, I think, and I'd maybe put that down to just the stink of DarkState. So, as I said, not completely writing them off, but this whole DarkState thing needs to end now.
It needs to go. Yeah, it needs to end or change or something. But I've not necessarily loved it, and that's been since day one. They just didn't know what it was. You can't wear all black and face masks and do the Shield powerbomb, and that's it. Like, I don't know if they knew what their character was, other than we're taking over, and it was Dion Lennox's idea from the beginning and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I think it's better that we can get over this feud. I do think we're going to go to some sort of rematch stipulation between Dion and Shugars, and then move away from this for sure. And also Romeo lost here, so maybe Dar and Romeo need to get their lick back as well against DarkState. I don't know. I don't really care about that, but I like Romeo. I like Dar too. I just don't know what are we gonna do with this team too. Like, are they gonna? Romeo's so young though too, but he's pretty good. But yeah, we go to backstage. Lizzie Rain is there with Jaida, Kendall Gray, Skylar Raye. Here we go. We got Lizzie Rain, Izzy Dame, Skylar Raye, and Kendall Gray.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like, this company went through years where, like, you know, Shane / Gregory Helms comes in and they're like, you can't be called Shane. We have a Shane McMahon here. You know, like, you had all those. You had all those things. You're going to be Gregory. You had all those.
Don't
things.
you slander Gregory Helms? And I love this theme
now
song
it's
too.
Just,
I love
you
Gregory.
have all these characters with ridiculous names, and they all happen to rhyme. It's yeah.
Lizzie Rain, Izzy Dame, Kendall Gray, Skylar Raye. It's pretty fucking hilarious.
Absolutely.
So they're all backstage and they're talking about how Jada's got her match with Nattie coming up, the rematch. And Kendall kind of throws shade at her and is like, it's your fault Nattie's been poking around here because you pissed her off. And she goes, no, you're right. But tonight I'm going to deal with Nattie. So maybe she's going to make sure she doesn't show up in NXT again. But Kendall and Ren get ready because out they go to the ring. Kendall Gray, NXT Women's Champ.
You also had Thea, who had a little show-long story in this one, who is like kind of telling Nattie stop being mean, and then is like, Jada's going to kick Nattie's ass tonight. She was on Jada's side.
So Kendall comes out with Ren, and out comes Lola Vice. We're going to have a rematch between these two in a few weeks for the women's title, but Kendall beat Lola, and Lola wants some revenge. Lola has the mic and says, "Hola NXT," and "Hola Kendall." And then Kendall replies with one of my favorites, "Hola Lola." Lola says
Hola NXT, hola Lola.
She says, "I know that you're champion, but I'm not done here yet. And I will fight, and I will continue to fight. And I've been through it all. There was Lyra, Roxanne, Steph, JC, and finally, it was my time." And says that, "Kendall, you may be champion, but you need validation," which I thought was a pretty silly thing to say, because Kendall says, "Isn't this validation? I am the champion. I beat you." And she's like, "Yeah, well, you didn't get here. Like, I've been here fighting to be champion." And Kendall says, "Hey, sorry, but I didn't need years to get to be champion. I got here faster because I'm better than you." And Lola says, "Yeah, but you're playing. You're make believe here. You're not ready yet." And says that you're actually deep down, you're scared. And I want my rematch because you may have beaten me in a match, but not in a fight. And Kendall kind of takes that back a second and goes, "Oh, wait, I see what you're putting down here. So you want to fight in the underground." So Lola Vice challenges Kendall Gray to the NXT Underground, and Kendall ends the face-to-face with, "After I kick your ass, you can go back to shaking it." Oh. In a few weeks, August 4th edition of NXT, Kendall Gray putting the NXT Women's Championship on the line against Lola Vice in NXT Underground match.
Look, I wouldn't say that Kendall is the finished product yet on the mic, but she's stepped up a lot. Like, it's only recently they've actually been having a talk in the ring. I think she did a, pre-title reign. She did a lot of stuff backstage, right? She did a lot of stuff with Ren and all those little segments backstage, but
The cake.
she had that she had that promo after winning the title, kind of saying, this scares me. I'm not as confident doing this as I am wrestling. And I think that actually babyfaced her a lot. And this time we got to see a bit more fire behind her. And I think from Lola as well, we saw a bit of edge to her. And I think she's impressing, and both are improving in this department. And Underground's an interesting one because Lola, obviously, this is her match. And do you see any kind of turn from Lola Vice? She's leaning a little heel in this feud, still big sistering Kendall a bit, you need to prove that wasn't a fluke beating me and lines like that. And I wonder if we're going to get a heel turn from Lola, because we've said this before, if they're not going to move someone up yet, it's let's try and see what else you can do in a different character. And but does that mean a title change at all? Could you see it going back on a heel Lola?
I kind of like that, actually. Look, I like Kendall. I do think maybe the full character isn't developed. She caught fire since showing up in NXT. I think since November, she's been one of the best wrestlers on the show, and we've been praising her. But you could flip it back to Lola. What if Lola does turn full evil baddie here and in her own match wins it back, and then maybe you could flip-flop it back to Kendall eventually, but yeah, I'm not writing that out. Most likely that does not happen, and it's just Kendall beats her, and then maybe Lola moves up post SummerSlam, possibly. But I don't know. I wouldn't rule that out. It does kind of sound interesting. And you know what? Lola Vice in these underground matches has been pretty fun. So these two should kill it in that match.
And I think it will suit Kendall's amateur wrestling background.
Yeah, exactly.
As well, we're going to see a lot more of that in the underground. So yeah, I'm all right with this. And what they said, that's in 2 weeks' time, I believe.
Yeah, August 4th.
All right. So
yeah,
NXT after SummerSlam.
That's right. Yeah, that'll be the match, the main event, I'm sure, for Women's Championship. But I think Lola's getting better on the mic too. I thought she sounded good. Same with Kendall with a few of the lines as well. So I don't know if Lola is done with NXT thus far, and I think maybe it could be a little interesting to kind of flip-flop it, but it's probably not gonna happen. But we go from that to a Tony D'Angelo video. Tonight, he puts the title on the line in a street fight against Naraku. We see the recap of his face getting burned, and Naraku just, ha ha ha, evil laughing. We go to our next match, Keanu Carver versus Hank Walker. Keanu's just been on a tear, beating people up, and Hank Walker wants some revenge, so he's challenged him to this match. Hank Walker. Honk, wonk, wonk. Hank Walker versus Keanu Carver. Right away, Hank is on him, trying to beat down on him. He hits a big boot to his face, hits a boss man slam on Carver. Very nice from Hank here. But Carver comes back. There's a big backbreaker and then a fall away slam. Eventually, he attacks Tank Ledger on the outside. He's like, man, screw your friends. I don't care. And throws him into the steps, which infuriates Hank. And Hank hits a very nice tope suicida to Carver on the outside. Eventually gets him back in the ring, but Carver hits the pounce and then the what we were calling the Alabama Slam or Booker T type spine buster for the 1, 2, 3. What's the name of this move? The Carver? Considering this dude's name is Keanu Carver, he carved him. The Carvery?
The Toby.
He splats Hank to the mat here with this move and pins him. But right after the bell, Tank attacks him. So now he's beating up Tank, and then out of nowhere, EK Prosper shows up, and it takes 3 of these baby faces to take out the big monster heel as they stand tall. So 3-on-1 handicap match possibly soon. I don't know.
I mean, I imagine one more match with Prosper, and like Prosper's beaten him twice now, so maybe Carver needs to get
just a singles match,
his lick back. But
yeah,
this was all right. It's Carver's still very green, but it is fun seeing him with the bigger guys. We had the same with Tank recently, like throwing them around. I find Hank's come a long way. He overacts a lot, and I find it was a little aggravating in this one how over the top he was with his selling in this match. I thought it was a little off-putting for me.
I just don't know where we go with Hank and Tank. Like we've said, or even just
they should have moved up a long time ago.
Like they should just go to the main roster eventually. Like at this point, they could be the honk thing, the belly boy stuff. It could probably get over. To be honest, like I think they're good enough that you got to try it at least. We've rang that bell. We've like broken record on this show. We've been doing NXT reviews for Post Wrestling for a long time, and like how many times were we like, why don't you just try it on the main roster? And like look, the ones they didn't try.
You're not building either of these guys up to be a WWE champion one day, but in the tag division, I think there's segments they can be doing backstage. There's WWE shop stuff they can shill, and they have fun matches like as a tag team. Like, and I definitely think you can picture people in the crowd with honk shirts and all that sort of thing. So I don't think there's much more development for them really. This is them as a tag team. Yes, maybe Tank has a little higher ceiling as a singles act further down the line. But right now, the money's in them as a team, and there's not really much else for them to do in NXT at this point.
Like, there's so many characters that they should have just... Like, I think when I always go back to my favorite time of WWE, 2005, bro, they'd be like, yo, you're a what? You're a pirate gimmick? All right, go on TV. Oh, it died? It died it walked the plank, literally? Yeah, fuck it, cut it from TV. Cool, then do that. But like, at least throw the guy out there on the rope one time and see if it works. But if it doesn't, we know it doesn't. Like, I think that of Tony D'Angelo and his Italian mafia mobster gimmick, because now I don't even know what Tony D is. So what are you going to put him on the main roster to do? Enzo and Cass? Like, I don't know what that is. Duke Hudson and Andre Chase. Like, stupid ass gimmick that eventually got over. And you know what? If you put that tag team on the main roster, probably would have worked too. But you didn't. So, I don't know. It's weird. I'm not saying Hank and Tank are like the number one draft picks from NXT, but it's like, what the hell else are they doing here?
Yeah.
So try them as a team on the main roster. Like, why not? And yeah, there you go. Shout out Hank and Tank. But still, I mean it just as a blanket statement of like, some of these people have been here for a while, and it's shit or get off the pot. NXT Degrassi. Some of these people need to graduate, and some of these people got to go get hard-working jobs somewhere else. So, just like high school. We go from... Where were we? We had Hank and Tank. Oh, we got Nattie and the girls. Is it Nattie and the baddies? The dungeon baddies? What are we calling these?
Well, baddies are Jades. I was just going to call them bitches, to be honest, but like...
Nattie and the baddies. So Nattie and her dungeon girls. We got Nikita, and we got Carmen Petrovich. And they walk by... The dungeon dolls? Ooh. Is that could be... They could get into some issues they've had before with names and copyrights. Yeah, exactly. So Thea Hale is here with Nattie, and... Thea's clearly on Team Jaida, and Nattie's like, "Hey Thea, you could learn a lot if you want an invite to the dungeon. Like you could really learn a lot from us." And Thea says, "Yeah, I could aspire to be a legend or a." She says, "You can aspire to be a legend like me or a soft bitch like Jaida." And Thea says, "I don't think Jada's soft. I think you are." And Nattie's like, "Get out of my way. I'm getting ready for my match." So Thea saying no to the invite to the dungeon. She doesn't want that. She doesn't want to go learn from a legend, the low-key legend. Let's see if that works out for her. We got a commercial for Cody Rhodes visiting the warehouse for Unreal. I guess Unreal Season 3 is out now on Netflix.
Yeah, it came out today.
Oh, all of them? They just dropped it all?
I'm not sure. I think a few episodes dropped. I don't know if it was the whole thing or not.
Sure we'll catch up on that on a future Poisonrana and give some thoughts on all that. But Cody Rhodes in the warehouse, this is something I would watch. Him just going through all the weird nerdy shit from the past. There's a whole show about. Didn't Top Dollar used to do that? Never mind.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that show actually. Hidden Treasures.
Just wish it was someone else. No, he was fine on it actually. Bless him. All right, we go to our next segment. Shiloh Hill. And this was from last night at Monday Night Raw. Shiloh Hill backstage at Monday Night Raw, and he runs into Danhausen. That's right. The dream team mashup we all wanted. Shiloh Hill and Danhausen here on NXT. And he goes, "Hi, Mr. Hausen. Is it cool if I call you Dan?" And he goes, "Who are you? Are you here to be experimented on?" And he goes, "Oh, no, I'm not here to be experimented on, but I'm here because my tooth got smashed last week by Tristan Angels, and I know that you carry lots of teeth with you, and I was wondering if you had any extra teeth for me because I'm missing a tooth." So Danhausen is like, "Oh, actually, I think I got some extra teeth lying around here." So he starts to go through all these different teeth, and then asks him, "Hey, this isn't free, and I charge, of course, human monies." Shiloh Hill says, "Oh, I don't have anything on me. Do you accept Bitcoin or cryptocurrency?" And Danhausen says, "Cryptocurrency? Ooh, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I accept that. Sure." So he takes this USB of crypto and takes it from him, gives Shiloh Hill a tooth. Shiloh Hill says, "Thank you," walks off, and Danhausen stops and goes, "Oh no, was that a cursed tooth? I don't think it was. I don't care. It's not me. Who cares?" And then continues to try to get the cryptocurrency working. So yes, Shiloh, let me just repeat in a nutshell here. Shiloh Hill needed a new tooth, so he got it from Danhausen, but it ends up that the tooth is cursed. Therefore, Shiloh Hill is now cursed by Danhausen. Did I get that right?
I think so. But like, no, I don't know if Shiloh Hill was cursed, but I think he picked up some. I think he picked up some demon from Danhausen.
Some demon? That's a different character. That's copyright infringement there. But
Danhausen's a demon.
Yeah, but the other demon. How long till we get Finn Balor and Danhausen doing stuff together? But yeah, I think the tooth is cursed. It's an evil tooth, right?
Yes, but not like the unlucky curse that we've seen.
Yeah.
It's not like when he curses people and he's got bad luck. It's kind of given Shiloh a bit of an evil power. It's maybe more like the symbiote, like Venom kind of thing.
Right. Like the Ring. Like the Lord of the Rings. Like, evil. Curse.
I shouldn't like this, but I did. And I just think it's because both people really know exactly what their character is, whereas you see other goofy stuff, which is someone's been handed this goofy script with this goofy character that isn't 100% them. I know this sounds ridiculous because I'm looking at a guy in Pazuzu makeup, but this is 100% them, and therefore I think they just committed to the bit. And I've been having real fun with Danhausen so far on the main roster, and Shiloh's really warmed to me as well. And these weren't two characters I expected to see interact, but it kind of made sense. Like Shiloh had his teeth broken and Danhausen has teeth. So why not? I can understand if people hate this, but really I didn't. And I thought both played it pretty well.
There's plenty of this is probably just going to offend people. It shouldn't, but Fed slop. There's tons of that over the years of like these shitty comedy and backstage segments, but Danhausen is pretty funny. I definitely like it. I do enjoy the Pazuzu makeup and the getup and everything. I never loved his wrestling, but I loved everything else, and a marketing genius. So bless him. He deserves all the human monies and the success that he's found. I love to see it. And yeah, like you watch it and you kind of want to hate it. We've been programmed. There is so much bad comedy in WWE, but even things like Cryptocurrency got a great little Munsters chuckle out of me. So I've been loving the Danhausen stuff. I must admit. And we watched this show. We've watched Shiloh Hill for a long time now, or not a long time, but DC's been a character on this show for a while. It's cool to see him mix it up with on screen with Danhausen, right? So cool for him. And what's to come, because now his gimmick is he's possessed by the cursed tooth of Danhausen. Yeah, I understand why people don't like this kind of stuff, but it's wrestling, all right? Is it wrestling? I don't know if this is wrestling.
Of course it's wrestling. Like, come on. We've always
look. I love my DDT, and this Saturday, Mystery Wrestling, there's going to be all sorts of cursed tooths and Sasquatches and shit. So I'm for it.
I don't think there's a company out there that hasn't had goofy shit in wrestling.
Exactly.
Ever.
Yeah, wrestling's a variety show. Comedy wrestling is still wrestling. Never forget that.
What did you think of EO with Danhausen on the what's he call it, the crypt car thing? That was pretty cool.
What do you mean? On
EO is hanging out with Danhausen.
Oh wow! Yesterday. Oh wow! No, I didn't see that.
Oh,
good for her. She cursed too?
No, she was having a whale of a time.
Oh. I thought she's cursed because she's with evil. So, right? She's cursed.
There we go. Look at this. Look at it. Isn't that nice?
Wow. Danhausen having the time of his life.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good stuff. I like Shiloh Hill and Danhausen here tonight. That was a great moment. NXT heritage moment here tonight. It goes Shiloh Hill and Danhausen just slightly below Sexy Red and Lola Vice. Just slightly. In heritage moments. Our next match, it is the low-key legend Nattie taking on Jaida Parker right away. Well, we got Nikita and Carmen ringside, of course, the Dungeon Dolls, as you say. We got Jaida going at it, besting Nattie here, who then kind of takes a breather and is like, oh, whoa. And Jaida yells at her, who's soft now? Who's soft now? I don't know, Jaida, but we'll find out on the Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam, right? I'm thinking that we will. They'll spell it a little different, but we'll find out who is. There's a slap from Nattie, and Jaida kind of laughs it off and then slaps her back, and it was a big one here. She beats on Nattie, sends her into the corner, does the high step ass drop. That's just how I describe it. The baddies help her out, and then Nattie starts to beat on her as they go into picture-in-picture. Jaida starts to fight back with a submission move, a very nice Rings of Saturn from Jaida here. Nattie comes back with a Nattie by Nature lariat for a 2 count. There's a Samoan drop in there from Jaida, followed up by a Falcon Arrow. She changed the Gourd Buster into a Falcon Arrow. I like that. I like the Falcon Arrow, far superior move than a Gourd Buster, unless you're Unless you're Jeff Jarrett, who does the Gourd Buster anymore anyway. So maybe the Gourd Buster wasn't a bad move to get rid of, but Falcon Arrow, way better. But Nattie sees your Falcon Arrow and raises her a Michinoku driver, which was quite nice here for a 2 count. She locks in the sharpshooter, but Jaida fights out of it eventually, selling the knee, but then sends Nattie knee first into the steps, rolls her back in, and puts Nattie in her own move of the sharpshooter. And Nattie is trying to fight out of it. How embarrassing. Her own family's move, and she's in it. And we see Nikita holding up a white towel, teasing that she's going to throw in the towel for Nattie. And Nattie's like, whoa, no, you're not throwing in the towel. Stop that. I'm not sure if this was done on purpose, but we see Nattie in the sharpshooter and the towel is thrown in. So the ref rings the bell and Nattie's face changes like, what the f? And then you see the camera panning and it's not Nikita or Carmen that threw it in the towel, but Thea Hale ran out, grabbed it and threw it in. So the ref called the match. Jaida Parker wins via count out, throwing in the towel, submission. I don't know.
Forfeit.
But Jaida forfeit. Jaida Parker wins the match via Thea Hale.
Yeah, I think it was deliberate to not see it the first time round and catch it on the replay. We had it the other week with the pounce from Callie Armstrong to Kendall Gray, where you just heard that thud and like Kendall just being taken out of commentary. And I quite like it, actually. I quite liked that in that moment. It kind of made you as the audience like the referee in a way, like just seeing the towel. I liked this match until the finish. I thought both worked with an intensity that really actually lived up to the story, where Jaida's being called soft. So she's coming at her like some stiff slaps in there, some like, a little bit more mustard on some of these moves from both women. It was the end I really didn't like here, because Jaida should be overcoming Nattie to prove that she's not soft.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think the towel spot many years ago with, who was it? Mustache Mountain worked because they always come to the ring wearing towels, whereas this match, when have you ever seen Nikita Lyons carrying a towel to the ring? And it's
Nattie's
like
maybe? I guess. I don't know.
Suddenly it's like there, and it doesn't really, it's like, okay, so we're going to do a towel spot. Nattie was barely selling the sharpshooter at all. Like, she didn't look like she was in agony enough for a towel to be thrown in, or even contemplated throwing a towel in. So didn't like that. And then I didn't like how Jaida was like fist bumping Thea. She got a cheap win here. And how does this prove that Jaida Parker isn't soft when she essentially kind of cheated, like, not like didn't ask for Thea's help, but she's like, oh, thanks, Thea, you really got me out of that one. And she's the baby face here. It just, I thought the end stunk. And
yeah.
But I actually, I'm not the biggest Nattie fan, but the work was good in the body of this match. I thought it was really good between the two. And I thought Jaida really stepped up and showed something here. But I thought bad finish to this.
What's funny is, take this in for a second. The finish here is us, the audience at home. We don't see Thea throw it in. So it just shows Nattie's reaction, and then the towel on the mat, and then the ref calls it, right? So the ref doesn't see who threw it in. They just see the towel. So therefore, the ref fucked up. So really, the match should be restarted? Because why?
Well, it's the ref's decision's final, right?
Because we then go from this to Mr. Stone backstage, and Kalani Jordan has an iPad and goes, hey, look what happened a few weeks ago when I was robbed. The ref counted 3 and I didn't win the match. And Mr. Stone says, well, it's referee's discretion and the decision is always final. We just saw that it was the ref's fault in this match with Nattie and Jaida. So that's
I mean, don't get me started on the World Cup again, but I think with certain refereeing we've had in sports the last couple of weeks, I think this was very plausible.
It's just so funny that we went from this, because clearly us, the viewer, like, I understood what happened pretty quickly, even before. Yeah. But when it cuts to Vic trying to explain it, because they go to the replay, they go to the Panda. Thank God for the Panda Express replay, so we could actually see what happened, because then you do see,
which they're probably showing in the arena, and the referee's looking at it and going,
yeah,
oh,
all that's right. What happened. Oh,
up there.
I gotta restart the match then.
Anyway, see you next week, guys.
Just like, I'm sorry, it's the little things here. This is nitpicking, but that's dumb. It's pretty dumb. Yeah. Like, if this were to have happened on another show, people would rip it apart, because why did you? I get it's wrestling, and I'm going to let it go, but it was so silly. And then you just added salt in the wound with the segment that bleeds into the finish of this is Mr. Stone saying, nah, the ref's decision is final, for another issue that happened 2 weeks ago that people online were like, oh, that ref was kind of off. And then they show it here on an iPad. How many times do we joke on this show? Like, if you're a wrestler and you got screwed over, wouldn't you just have an iPad with the clip? Like, yo, this is from YouTube. Look, WWE Twitter posted this, and I got screwed over. And she literally does that, and Mr. Stone says, get fucked. We don't do that shit here. Oh, you're actually worried about wins and losses in wrestling? Yeah, we don't do that shit here, okay? I don't give a fuck. So I just thought that was so funny that we went back to back with the referee fucking on you, essentially. But I thought Jaida and Nattie had a really solid match. I loved the last time they tied it up. I think Nattie is a huge asset to NXT. So the one positive is now turn this into a Thea-Nattie feud and give something for Thea to do. But I think everyone should wrestle Nattie while they can, because you probably learn a whole lot. So it made Jaida look a whole lot better. And I feel like she's been a little bit of a slump since before this Nattie stuff. So at least it's giving her something to do. And I thought it was a pretty good match.
Like, because I thought we were maybe getting an underground with this, but like, what's the blow off for these
submission? Like Jaida versus Nattie in a submission. Mr. Stone should do the right thing and recall this match. He should take it, even though he said decision's fine.
While.
I quit.
We haven't had Fight Pit for a while.
Fight Pit, but it's too similar to the Underground.
Is that too similar to Underground?
It's very, very similar. Underground is more blood sport, but Fight Pit was more like a Hell in a Cell kind of blood sport thing, right? I forget, but yeah, I would just do submission match and then Jaida finally
no DQ submission, something like that.
Sure. Yeah, we do the Stone Cold Brett finish.
Yeah.
With Jaida and Nattie. Only on NXT. No, I really liked the match, honestly, and then the finish I just thought was so silly. I don't know what we're doing with Thea Hale with this dad rock gimmick, but I guess we got to see what they can get out of it, and maybe Nattie can be the one to do that. But as I said, we went from that match into the Mr. Stone telling Kalani Jordan that he doesn't care that she actually won the match.
He was very busy. He kept on saying, I'm very busy tonight. I can't be dealing with this. I'm very busy.
She says, and you call yourself a man of integrity, and she walks off. To make matters worse, Mr. Stone, you know what? We have defended Mr. Stone through all of it. Through the brownies with Come Tuesday to his kids with ponytails. We followed I followed him. He's always Robbie E. But he then just like basically told Kalani, no, I'm not, changing these things. And then he goes to OTM and then stirs the pot with them. Like, what a dickhead. Robert Stone, what were you doing tonight, man? And then oh man, you know what? Even worse. And then what does he do? He goes later on, he shills us some popcorn chicken from KFC. What a terrible...
We'll get there. Let's...
Anyways, he has OTM here, and he's like, hey, you guys got the match with Birthright next week. And then mentions, hey, Bronco, we need to talk about AAA and... Was it AAA and Stand and Deliver? Is that like not like a year ago from now? Like, or is he talking about Heat Wave and
I think it's AAA. Heat Wave, because you got the AAA show that day. So he's like, you're gonna have to decide, are you AAA or NXT? And Lucian Price is looking like
he's like, oh, you can just tell me later. So some tension between them, because we mentioned the Birthright kind of stirring the pot last week or the week before, where it's like, hey, why didn't you tell him about that? And who knows? All I know is we need Lil JJ back, but yeah, this
isn't a team like I finally started to warm to this team. It's not a team I'd contemplate breaking up at this point because
you think they are? I guess.
They're at least doing attention tease, aren't they?
Yeah. But honestly, though, Mr. Stone, to say, hey, you guys, you can only do one show. Be real, Mr. Stone. Were they going to be booked on Heatwave? Come on, man. Come on. We go to our next match. Niko Vance. The truth will ultimately prevail. Niko Vance in all white comes out with Izzy Dame, and he's taking on the former leader of the culling. And I know last week we wondered when they announced this match, if Niko Vance and Izzy are still technically the culling, then they own the right because they've been coming out to their theme song, which is The Truth Will Ultimately Prevail, all that stuff. But we wondered, what would Shawn Spears come out? Would it be the iconic, one of our favorites, Ty Dillinger 10 theme song? No. The answer is no. He doesn't come out to music. The intro plays. It's just him a cappella. The truth will ultimately prevail, but there is pain bringing it to light.
With a spotlight on a chair on the stage.
On the stage. But only to reveal that Shawn Spears doesn't have music because he's in the ring behind Niko Vance, and then he attacks him, which starts this match. I got to pause right there. You think they just didn't want to give him music because that probably won't be another Shawn Spears match on NXT?
Oh, I don't know about that, but you know what? Because we sort of joked about it last week with bringing back his, great Ty Dillinger aerobics theme. The way it was dark and it paused,
I thought it was going to be.
I legit thought they were going to do it and thought it would get a real big reaction. But what made me laugh with this was, so that like great catchphrase, the great hook for the start of his theme is said. And then he stood behind Niko Vance. Izzy Dame's staring at him. And Shawn Spears is pointing to his head like, I'm smart.
I got you.
Izzy says nothing. And then he attacks Niko. And then Izzy's like, oh, no. She's looking right at him. Wouldn't she just go, Niko, he's behind you. Turn around.
Maybe she's in on it. Maybe she's siding with him. I don't know. This match is fine. So we get into this. Niko Vance, Shawn Spears. No music here. Spears is beating him. Eventually, he goes for a dive. So I don't know what happened here. He went for like a plancha, but then he didn't. So then Niko Vance just gets completely lost here. I felt like they needed a few seconds to maybe reset or possibly talk to each other because it was very, very odd. Eventually, there's a suplex from Spears on the outside. He goes for the chokeslam on Niko to the desk, which they did to him, but Niko blocks it and power slams him on the floor. Eventually, he's attacking the back and the tailbone, and Booker T is going off about the toxus bone or something like that, like the tailbone and all this stuff. Niko hits some short arm clotheslines, but Spears starts to fight back, but not enough. There's like a weird impaler style DDT from Niko for a 2 count, and then Spears gets up and starts yelling at him, "Is that all you got, bitch?" So as he's fighting Niko, Izzy's yelling at him, and out comes Lizzie Rain to take out Izzy Dame, which allows...
We're getting that feud one-on-one just to throw Booker into a tiz.
So while this distraction is happening, the ref is looking at these two women fighting. So Spears takes the chair, smacks the mat, throws the chair in the air. Niko catches it. Spears drops to the mat. It's the classic Eddie Guerrero spot. And the ref turns around and rings the bell, disqualifying Niko Vance. Yes, the match before, the ref didn't even see who threw in a towel. And in this match, a ref DQs someone for something they didn't do in NXT. And you thought Rick Knox was bad over on Wednesday nights. Oh boy. I guess it's developmental for the refs too, because what's going on with these refs in NXT? But Yeah, Niko Vance loses.
I hated this finish as well, and especially you have one of these on a show, sure, but when I've already got mad about the finish on the match before, and then I think the thing is, like, Eddie made this spot work because he had that twinkle in his eye, right? He was always
lie,
being
cheat, steal.
and it's lie, cheat, steal, but logically, it's always been, unless the referee sees it. Like, how many times do you like a bottle gets smashed over someone's head and the referee turns around, there's glass all over the floor and one guy's lying down and the ref's just like, oh,
guess
don't
there's
know
a
what
bottle.
happened here, didn't see anything, my bad, continue the match. Whereas here, he just hears a thud and like Spears
he doesn't even hear the
that.
thud because he's busy with the women when that happens. You can barely hear it. Yeah. Anyways.
But like Spears doesn't have that, you know, that twinkle and charisma that Eddie had to make this work. And I just don't think this spot really works. And especially when you had the kind of babyface sort of cheating to win in the match before, like this did nothing. I think I don't like the gimmick, but I've been enjoying Niko Vance, and I didn't think this was a really good showing from either of them.
Yeah, I have liked Niko, and I want him to break away from this culling stuff. And Shawn Spears, I think maybe we have outgrown his welcome here. I get it that he's helping the younger talent and probably a lot behind the scenes, I would imagine. But I just think maybe as an on-screen character, the culling was really like, what even is this stable from the beginning? And now he's doing the Eddie Guerrero spot. It's like, okay, I get you're the chairman, but I don't get why you're the chairman, actually. No. So, like, yeah, bless him.
Eddie's spots are already overdone so much. And it's...
Yeah, exactly.
But normally it's like, you know, okay, you've got Dom/Liv, makes sense. Dom's got that connection.
He's his son.
Any Hispanic wrestler does it because it's Eddie. And Mercedes.
But like, some dude from St. Catharines, Niagara Falls is like, yeah, I'm going to do the Eddie spot.
Like,
I didn't get it. I didn't get it quite. Yeah. I think we might have to do a rematch because, like, it's...
Why not?
Yeah. So maybe we do get the theme song, but I would write him off. But yeah, this didn't do anything for me, really. But the truth shall set you free. Cam Hendricks is backstage. He's with Mr. Stone, who's real busy tonight. He's asked about his health bar, his health percentage. Cam says that he's currently at 67.2%, which I think actually is less than last week. Yeah, he must have watched Raw last night. His morale went down.
Yeah.
He says, I'm just, I'm ready to get back in the ring, but I got to look out for my body. And this is when Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights walk in. Miles, who is a babyface champ, says, your knee is attached to a coward, and then turns to Stone and says, hey, I'm thinking of an NQCC reunion next week. I want to revive my old tag team with Tavion Heights, which I watched the show. You did that recently. No? Okay. He says he wants a tag team title match with Tavion, and Tavion responds, and I quote, yo, are you dead ass? And Miles says, yeah, I want a title shot. Stone says, well, you're already like a champion and you need to defend your North American Championship. See, Mr. Stone, bringing the law down on tonight's show. Well, not really, but being a bit of a dick. He says that if you defend your title next week, then I will give you a tag team title match the following week. But where would I find you a challenger? And that's when Cam Hendricks, and bless him, I thought this was pretty funny. He goes, oh, sorry. You hear that? My phone's buzzing. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I just got a text from medical. They're saying I'm at 107.6% and I am medically cleared. And Mr. Stone says, well, I guess I'll give you the North American Championship match against Miles Bourne. And Cam goes, oh, yeah, I'm totally cleared and ready for this match next week. So wouldn't you know it, Cam Hendricks is healed, and he's got a title match next week. I hope he wins. I hope he wins. He probably won't, but
yeah, no, I
just give it to him, please.
Someone needs to get this title off of Portman because he's done nothing with it, and I welcome this tag team of NQCC being back together. I thought Tavion looked like such a dork in this, though. He acted like he was a kid who just was told by his parents that he's going to Disneyland.
Yo, dead ass.
He's like, but it's not even that. He's like celebrating this tag team title match he's getting. And then as they're in that little backstage area where there's like a kitchen and stuff in the background. Yeah. So Cam Hendricks is doing his thing like, oh, I'm actually cleared now. And you just see Tavion Heights walking behind them, quietly going, yes, pumping his fists in the air.
Overacting.
And I'm like, how much of a dork does it, like, it's not like this guy hasn't had title opportunities. He's had plenty of title opportunities. He had the matches against Ethan Page for the North American title, which he didn't win. Pretty sure he's probably been in a speed tournament, because who hasn't? And he had the match with Miles, and it was just, I don't know, it was a little too much. But I agree with the idea, like, just drop this title, get it on someone else, anyone else, and revive them as a tag team, because there's so much
better
to watch like that.
Yeah, they would work way better again as a tag team. Like, you could even hype them back up, even if they don't win the titles. That's how you could bring these two up. Like Miles, I don't know what he would do if you put him on the main roster. Like, they've tried a lot of things. You literally booked Miles versus Johnny Gargano, and I was still like, yeah, okay, cool, it was fine. I just don't know what else we do with him here. And if they've tried, they've given him main event world title shots and stuff in the PLEs, and just don't know. Like, I think there's maybe more there with a tag team with Tavion. And the same like, if Tavion's not a tag team, I don't know, he's even further down the line, like, of what are we doing with him. So honestly, as a tag team, it probably makes a little bit more sense. And now you could even change the name. No Quarter Catch Crew, like, get a different name, even Miles and Tavion. I don't know, but Cam Hendricks has been pretty funny in these talking things, and I would be much more interested with him having this title. So I've been loving the health meter stuff. It's been funny. So little things this guy's done. Yeah, I like him. We go to our next match. Is the debut of Reina Volcan taking on Skylar Raye. Reina Volcan, they mentioned in her promos, the vignettes, that she's the first Dominican Republic superstar in the WWE, which is crazy, like, considering, like, I had no idea that, like, women's in NXT, because I think back to, has there not been? Like, she said that last week, and it's still
Dominican? I can't think of a
Dominican Republic, yeah. I love the Dominican. Shout out Dominican. Every time I go, I wear my Blue Jays, and everyone's Blue Jays. They love it. They love it down there. Shout out Reina Volcan, who's taking on Skylar Raye. Do you wanna say why I told you we're watching Jericho and Rhino? Yes. This kind of reminded me of Rhino versus Chris Jericho here. Reina Volcan is like a beast. She is that's funny because we're talking about Rhino, the man beast, but the woman beast right here. She is like a specimen. I feel like already this is what Zarya should have been. She has like the whole like destructive natural disaster thing, and then she comes in. Okay, they gave Skylar Raye some things here. There's like some drop downs and like a face buster essentially, but pretty much it's a squash match. There was a power slam, a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, and then she sweeps is it Skylar Raye? Right, Raye off the top rope, and then picks her up into a torture rack, and she submits right away. So very quick match, making light work of Skylar Raye. So the natural disaster.
Torture rack's an interesting one because it's quite old school, isn't it? That move. Yeah. I mean, Lex Luger, but I can't think last time we've really seen a torture rack finisher. And
torture racks on racks. Yeah, I like it. I never liked it when Lex did it, but I loved it when other wrestlers did it. I know AJ always did it and then turned it into the rack bomb, which could easily turn into her finisher as well. But she is so huge that it looks like a vicious move. Like it's summertime and wrestling in the pool is the best. I have put the torture rack on some people in the past. It does hurt. you're bending them
Oh,
upside down if you could do it. And
Sometimes
she's
I feel
huge.
I need it a bit low. Sometimes
Yeah,
I
it
want
kind of
the
looks.
back crack like
It
that.
kind of low key looked like it could be nice, actually.
Yeah,
Like cracking a few of those.
I wouldn't be mad.
You wouldn't be mad if she did that. Yeah, she looked pretty good in her debut here. It wasn't necessarily anything that blew me away, but I think this is exactly what they were trying to do with Zarya and that, like, you know, the vignettes and the Mad Max or evil Marvel villain kind of thing with these vignettes and characters. So first glance, I'm interested to see some more from her. But yeah, she's jacked. She's jacked.
Yeah, me too. Not enough to judge by on this match, but I do like the look and the presentation and yeah.
How do you feel about popcorn chicken from KFC?
Okay, I might be sounding like I'm picky and a negative Nancy today.
Go off, King.
But this whole show, this whole episode of NXT, whenever we saw Robert Stone, he's the general manager of this
show.
Brand. And he had talent who works for him.
All night,
you know,
bothering him.
All night, I mean, that's his job. You know, talent have a concern. Like Kalani Jordan is like, hey, I feel like that match should have continued last week I should have won the match. I got the pin there. Why didn't I win the match? Why don't I have my title opportunity? Kalani, I am so fucking busy tonight. Thea Hale, hey, I'm kind of like, I've been in a bit of a depressed state. I don't know where my career's going. Any way we can talk. Thea, I'm so fucking busy tonight. And then this show's only 2 hours long. He couldn't eat before the show. He couldn't eat after the show.
He was literally in the kitchen.
He's just sat eating popcorn chicken. Don't tell me you're so busy and in your 2 hour show you're just sat munching on popcorn chicken.
I'm gonna add to this.
I like you, Mr. Stone, but like, come on, like, this isn't good management here.
You had an employee that was like, "Yo, I was robbed of a match," and showed you proof, and then you had 2 finishes back to back on this show where the ref fucked up. That like you aren't running a tight ship here, Mr. Stone. We love you. This is a misstep here. It just reminded me of this was Wayne's World here with their feet up. It's like people only do things because they're getting paid, and it's like the he's got the chicken, the logo like right there in front of the camera. Like fine. The gimmick here was, wow, I can finally relax towards the end of the show. It was, I guess, because his guest of honor already showed up or something. But finally, I can relax and eat my popcorn chicken from KFC. It's like, who the fuck are you talking to? It's like Truman Show here. Wait a second. Who are you talking to? He's interrupted because in comes Shiloh Hill. And Mr. Stone is like, hey, what's going on with your tooth? You're acting a little weird. And Shiloh is a bit more emo, a bit more evil here. And says that this side of me has been down here for a long time. And I want revenge on Tristan Angels. The fog is coming. And he says that vengeance consumes me. And then all of a sudden he goes back to being like nice, Mr. Shiloh Hill. And then he goes, oh, I love popcorn chicken. And then takes Mr. Stone's box and then sees the 6 other boxes of it and goes, oh, are these up for grabs? And then takes all of Mr. Stone's popcorn chicken and walks off. So Mr. Stone didn't even actually get to eat the popcorn chicken, ultimately. So yes, Shiloh Hill is now... he's been taken over by Danhausen's evil demon tooth. Yeah. And he's eating popcorn chicken.
I really hope this rematch with Tristan. I hope it isn't now Shiloh comes out and it's smoke and darkness, and I hope he just kills him. Like just steamrolls him and then, and then removes the tooth, his new tooth after, and he's happy-go-lucky and goes off and eats as the bloody corpse of Tristan Angels is just being like scooped off the mat. So
have you seen Obsession?
I just want him to be really violent. Not yet, no.
So I think he has, because this is reminding me a whole lot of this. Right. This exact segment is Obsession, where 1 second you're like, oh, wait, what? No. Like, I do think there's some exercising the demons here going on with Shiloh Hill. It's ridiculous, but I guess we'll let it play out. But we're still just more mad about Mr. Stone literally blowing everyone off so that he can eat some popcorn chicken. It's like, come on, Mr. Stone. You're better than that. Do you like popcorn chicken? I don't like KFC personally. I really don't like it.
I'm not a KFC guy. I did like the going back years, but the popcorn chicken shakers. Did you have the shakers? What's
the shakers? Is it popcorn
chicken? So you get the popcorn chicken and then you'd get like they'd give you a seasoning and then you'd shake it. Like they were good.
Remember the double down? KFC did the sandwich but no bread. It's just chicken with then bacon cheese in the middle.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Popeyes is better. I like the spicy chicken sandwich. That's if I go for one of the chickens, I'm going to say that. But popcorn chicken, I guess, is okay. Next week on NXT, Shiloh Hill versus Tristan Angels, Miles Bourne versus Cam Hendricks, and Lizzie Rain versus Izzy Dame. I'm not making that one up. And I'm sure they've announced some other stuff as well, but that's what they promote here. But we go to our main event of the evening. It is the NXT Championship on the line. The champion, Tony D'Angelo, defending against Naraku in a street fight tonight. Tony D comes out looking like John Bernthal in the new Spidey movie. It's a tactical vest with a tiny little Punisher logo and a tiny little U.S. flag. Not quite like he's going to raid the Capitol, but like, you know.
I mean, he was just the Shield here, wasn't he? He looked like Seth Rollins with his beard and his hair and everything.
True. He
could, little crop top Shield tactical vest here.
Nice. Not quite Seth Rollins Shield, but not quite Kurt Angle Shield. But no. I liked his Punisher thing here. I'm excited for the Punisher. He's dressed like John Bernthal for Spider-Man, right? That's what I was assuming he's going. He looks like he's going to get in this match and he's going to go up to Naraku and say, let me ask you something. Naraku, I got to tell you something. Because I'm sure the Punisher, John Bernthal, says that a whole lot. So Tony D and Naraku in a street fight. Right away, Naraku sprays the red mist right in the face of Tony D. Unfortunately for Naraku, he chose red mist. Shout out Great Muda. But for the rest of this match, it just looks like Naraku has, not fully changed from his Mrs. Doubtfire costume in the bathroom and forgot that he has lipstick on. Because it just looked like he had lipstick on for this whole match. It looked like he had a red Kool-Aid jammer. But Tony D got it in the face here. And Naraku's on the attack. He beats up Tony. He throws him ringside into the LED board. And then he starts to collect some weapons. There's trash cans, kendo sticks. The whole basic WWE weapon set. It's all here. He eventually sets up all these chairs and slams Tony onto all of them. There's some dents in these chairs. He then goes to stomp Tony, but he rolls out of the way, so he stomps through a chair. Eventually, they're fighting again ringside.
Like the seat of the chair.
Yeah. The chair popped off of it. They're fighting ringside, and this time Tony throws Naraku into the ringside barrier as we go into picture-in-picture. Tony's in control. There's a ladder that gets brought out, and then Tony takes it from Naraku and throws it at his face. This looked nastier than I guess it was, because this looked like he just threw this thing right into the mush, right into his face, but somehow Naraku gets up. I keep seeing him after this, checking his eyebrow and his face, because he maybe thinks he's bleeding, but I don't think he was, but it looked like a nasty spot. Eventually, he fights back, though, and sets up a trash can and guillotine slingshots Tony into it. Eventually, he sends Tony through the announce desk on the outside. He gets D'Angelo back in the ring and goes for the mist again, but this time Tony blocks it, sort of. This one, I've watched this.
Hands,
yeah, he put his hands up to block his face and then beats on Naraku, sets up a table, climbs up these steps in the ring, and hits the dead to rights off the steps through the table.
So he doesn't just block it. He then uses the mist that's on his hands to rake the eyes of Naraku.
Into his eyes.
So he's giving Naraku the poison mist.
His own mist. A taste of his own mist here. Tony's mist. He then hits the dead to rights through the table and pins Naraku to retain the NXT Championship in the street fight. Before we get to what happens next and who shows up next, what did you think of our main event?
I I actually really enjoyed this. I thought there was some creative spots in it. We always talk about the handcuffs with WWE plunder matches, especially NXT plunder matches. But I thought they were quite creative with a lot of the spots here. And yeah, I thought they, again, like worked with some intensity. I've been quite enjoying Naraku so far in NXT, like way more than I enjoyed Evil. And I was surprised that at first that Naraku didn't win this. Like we were speculating last week, like we're going, come on, he's got to win the second one. He's got to win this. Maybe Hiromu shows up or whatever. So I was a little surprised, but I preferred this to their first match. I had fun with this one.
Yeah, like I said, cookie cutter WWE weapons and plunder matches, but it was fine. Like it was pretty decent. I guess match of the show, I would say. Yeah, I like Jaida and Nattie, but
really into it as well.
The crowd got into it. Like Tony is this character. I'm not sure what happens to him after this. Like I don't know what the next evolution of it. I don't even know what the character really is. But
for Naraku,
for Tony, it's like tough guy Tony. I don't know what his character is, but like I like him enough that I'm like I don't know. Like it was a fun match. This was definitely maybe the highlight of the show for me. I said definitely maybe, but it was good. I know that both of us were like, oh, it should just be Naraku who wins it, and then we're maybe move away from Tony. And I think maybe we were just assuming that that maybe Hiromu comes in, but that's not who shows up here tonight, because in comes music hits. We hear some rapping, and did they say his name, or is it's someone we know?
Oh, we've seen him before. That's the former TNA World Champion.
So the screen.
What's his name? What's his name?
It said Born Nasty on the Titantron in the graphics, and I think some of the music. So maybe that's some of the nickname going forward, Born Nasty. But yes, Mike Santana has shown up here in NXT, hot off leaving TNA Wrestling. He is here on NXT TV, and he stands tall through the crowd here, looking at Tony D'Angelo as NXT goes off the air. But yes, I think we obviously saw Santana when NXT was doing the crossovers with TNA and everything, and I thought that he looked like he fit like a glove in NXT. Like we've been complaining what feels like a year to a year and a half of men's roster in NXT needs a whole shakeup and needs a whole cast and crew of new people, and he could be the guy to wave that flag for this brand going forward in the next year or so.
Well, welcome addition. We needed someone like a Mike Santana to come in. I do think his name is going to change. Just the fact that they didn't say his name, and like if you go on the NXT website, it says developing a new superstar emerges in shocking moments. So he's going to get the NXT treatment and a name change, which is weird because we haven't had that with the other TNA stars, have we? We didn't have that with Joe Hendry. We didn't have that with Jordan Grace. But it does seem like that TNA relationship is dead now at this point. There hasn't been the crossovers, has there? Like Ariana Grace isn't. She was her and Stax, I feel, were the last two like TNA champions left, and neither of them have those titles anymore. So maybe the fact that he's coming in and the name is changing just says a little bit about that TNA relationship there. But it is weird when he's been on NXT so much already, and he's.
I thought I heard his name though. I thought I heard it in the song. I thought it heard it in the music. So I could be wrong, but I thought I didn't hear Vic say it, but I thought in the music that he came out to, because I was like, oh, right away I recognized his voice, because I know that he sometimes, or at least the guy who did his theme song before, it sounded like similar to his music before. So I think this is a brand new theme for him, and the graphics said Born Nasty, but I'm pretty sure the lyrics said Santana, what's good, or something like that. And I know the guy who did his last theme performed it and stuff, so maybe it's the same guy.
Or so maybe it's Mark Santana or something like that.
Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
The GOAT. Yeah, I think this is a great addition. I know the guy left AW, bet on himself, did the whole TNA stuff, but think when he got new eyes on him from that NXT kind of crossover months, I think people were pleasantly surprised, including us. We've seen him on the indies and stuff, and we always were like, yeah, he's fine, he's good, but I think this is the opportunity where they can
He's
strike
had
hot.
a star presence. He's delivered every time he's been in NXT. And he showed up again quite recently, didn't he? So I feel like that was like the last tryout. He can talk. He looks the part. I think a much welcome addition. And I see him taking this title pretty quickly. I said the same about Naraku, but I do see Santana being strapped up.
It would make way more sense for him to be a champion. And like I said, the flag bearer here for this show, at least for like the next year or so before they bring him up onto main roster. But this guy has paid his dues and done a whole lot of work in the indie circuits and really, really hustling and trying to get his name, bigger than what it was. So I never necessarily like loved a lot of his stuff, but since seeing him on NXT, I'm like, nah, like this is the right place for you. And I think both it helps NXT and NXT could help him at the same time. So I think it's a great addition. And eventually maybe that's the main event of Heatwave, right? Like they kind of Mason Rook kind of feels like an afterthought in the past few weeks of NXT.
Well, I think I think he was deliberately not on this show this week because we've set up that match with Miles and Cam because he'll show up to take out Cam Hendricks next week.
Right. Okay, cool. Maybe he takes the title from Cam. Maybe that's how we get the title to him or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's a great idea to. I don't know where we go with Tony D, but if he remains champion, sure. But if I'm booking Heatwave, I'd say Santana versus Tony D, and I would probably just give. I know it sucks to just give the person who comes in right away the title, but the men's division NXT has been so up and down and mostly down. So like a good shot in the arm from Mr. Smooth Santana, maybe that would make a whole lot of sense. So there you go, Santana joining NXT, or maybe that's his name. So that's a big deal here for NXT and a pretty good get for this brand. This episode, there was some good stuff, some decent wrestling, some things to look forward to. We have the Underground match announced for a few weeks. We got some stuff for next week. And then we got the Heatwave later in August to look forward to. So plenty of time before that. Like Heatwave is what? Like, same day as All In. So that's like end of August. There's so much TV before that, about a month plus to build up a Santana example for a title match. So I like that we're in a step in the right direction. We got Shyla Hill being cursed by Danhausen's tooth. We got Santana on NXT. Things are looking up on NXT in a weird way.
Yeah, there was some good stuff on this show. I just had some problems with, finishes and things like that. But overall, I thought there was some good wrestling on this, good story development, and any addition to the men's division for the positive is a positive.
I was expecting Takahashi, so maybe I was like, I wanted to see the nice little Japanese dude in a nice little coat, but I guess we'll have to wait for that. Maybe, possibly, if he even is still showing up. But Naraku, I'm not sure where we go with him now in NXT. Do you put him on the main roster? Does he join a stable or something? Like, I don't know where we go with a lot of people. I see Big Time Baxter in the chat saying problem with NXT men's division is they have solid names, but nobody is ready for the top spot. I mean, we clearly see Oba, who's been thrown into like a pretty big spot pretty quickly from leaving NXT to main roster. But some of the crop right now, I don't necessarily see that being the case. I think they might have to work their way up a bit more.
But I think as well, like your main roster, it always needs a lower card. It always needs a mid card. Like, and some of these people, that's kind of what I said about Hank and Tank. Like, it's okay to develop people to be a mid carder, an IC title, US title level person,
tag team.
You're not going to have everyone be Roman Reigns or Obafemi. Like, that's the hope, but you can't have a company full of them. So I think that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. That is NXT, or that was NXT. Did we have any feedback from the Facebook page? Did you?
Oh, yes. Let me have a little look. We do. I
Okay.
think this is. Oh no, that was last week's feedback.
Okay, well maybe we didn't get it.
Facebook's weird.
Yeah, Facebook's been really weird. Zuckerberg, what's going on, dude? Lizard dude, fix your thing. I use Facebook to talk to old friends via Messenger and share podcast related things, and I can't even do those things properly lately.
We've got one piece from Magan, who says,
course.
solid episode with a strong main event. I was fully convinced of a title change, but it wasn't the case. It didn't take long for Mike Santana to find a new home after wrapping up his TNA run. I expect that he's going to snatch Tony's chain at Heatwave. Reina Volcan had a solid debut. She's got the look and talent to go far. The Vice Grey segment was very strong. Going underground in 2 weeks is the way to go to up the ante between them. Ren's facial action was top notch. Kendall with the quote of the night, when I'm done whooping your ass, you can go back to shaking it. Bars. They sold me already.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Thank you, Megan. And thank you, everyone out there listening, whether you were in the YouTube chat tonight or you're listening maybe a little bit later. We appreciate it. And the pods never stop. We mentioned we do Up Next here every Tuesday, so as we talk about some NXT, but we have a whole other show called Poisonrana Live. Go to Poisonrana.ca or Poisonrana Pod in Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is that you use. Give us a follow in your favorite podcast app or YouTube and check out all the shows, including this Thursday, 11 a.m. on our YouTube. We will be doing an AEW Redemption preview show. We'll talk all about Dynamite tomorrow night. That doesn't feature Jericho versus Rhino, but that's okay. We'll talk all about the hype for Redemption as we will be there this Sunday. And then we'll be doing some Snap Ranas during the week. And we'll be doing a Redemption show at some point late Sunday, early Monday after we attend the presser at the Bell Center in Montreal. So big week for us. Follow along on our socials for all the adventures. I'm sure we'll be posting fun stories on our Insta of all the trouble we get up to in Montreal. So very excited about that, but we will talk to you this Thursday at 11 a.m. And yeah, thanks guys. Thanks NXT friends.
Thank you.
Appreciate. That is it. That is all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And are you dead ass?
Ahoy!
Are you? Are you dead ass?